different places to call home. Now I'm never on my own.
Wait. Salutations and shit, guys. Welcome to a remote episode of Travel and Shit. So salutations and shit from Vermont. Niggas, I'm out here on what happens to be the kid's first vacation. So technically I've been out of town with a boyfriend before, but we went with some other people. This is the first trip that I've been with a partner on, and shout out to boyfriend because he paid for the shit too. So we're in Vermont, in like a literal small town, Vermont. Fireplace in a cabin. We're legitimately in the middle of fucking nowhere, guys. So as much solo traveling as I do, this is absolutely a trip that I'm fortunate to not be taking by myself, and I will get into that right after I just do the giveaway info. So that was the third and final, and not just giveaway info, but intro info. That was the third and final theme song that I wanted to present to you guys. So it's been episode, I want to say 109, 110, and now this is episode 111. Actually, let me pause and say happy birthday to my little brother. My little brother just turned 30 yesterday. The day before that, my best friend Delnat. My grandma had birthdays. So happy birthday to my best friend. Happy birthday to my grandma. Happy birthday to my little brother. Welcome to the 30s. Welcome to your 30s, kid. Like, big deal. I don't even think he listens to my podcast, but I know a couple of my cousins do, and I'm certain that at least one of his little friends do. So let that nigga know that his big sister loves him, and she's very proud of him. And what was the next thing? And today I'm recording this on Veterans Day, so shout out to all of our veterans. Thank you for your service, especially to the veterans of color who fight for a country who shits on them at every chance it gets. But your service is appreciated, and your sacrifice, for a lot of you, the greatest sacrifice, is very much so recognized and also appreciated. So got a drink here. Cheers to our veterans. And shout out to my cousin Dave, because today's his birthday. So happy birthday, Dave. And to my emo Marsha, yesterday was her birthday also. I did a really, really candid podcast episode with her on her podcast, Introvert in the City. So if you're on iTunes, whatever platform you listen to this podcast, absolutely check out Marsha at Introvert in the City. She's making a lot of really big moves, and her platform is incredible. So I did an episode with her a couple of, I'd say, months ago at this point. And so check out what we did, and also just check out other episodes that she has. So those are, I have so many Scorpios and November babies in general, because I also have a couple of cousins in the end of November. So those are the birthday roundabout. The other thing I was going to get into is the giveaways that I was doing for the 2-year celebration. So still 2 years, big deal. Appreciate it. Again, thank you, boyfriend on the other side of the camera, for our little celebration. Definitely bought me a nice bottle of champagne to celebrate the success of 2 years. So I'm really excited about that. And the giveaways for that, I had 3 for you. One of them was a hoodie giveaway. If you'd like to win a Travel and Shit hoodie, I got the fireplace going right now, so the kid does not have a hoodie on because, yes, the shit works. I am warm and I'm drinking. This is my 3rd glass of wine at this point. So, you know what I mean? I'm warm. But if you'd like a Travel and Shit hoodie, you get to choose the hoodie. And heads up, I'm making a couple of changes on the merch site. So if there's anything that you've had your eye on, definitely jump on and get that shit now, because ain't no guarantee it's going to be there when you decide that you want it. But if something does pop up and or if something isn't there that was there at one point, and just send me an email and I'll see what I can do for you. But if you'd like a free travel and shit hoodie sent to you, all I need you to do is leave me a review on iTunes. So leave a 5-star review and a written out review, and screenshot it, because I don't really want you to leave your email address in the commentary or in the review of the podcast, only because that leaves it open for anybody that goes through the reviews to see it, and I wouldn't want them to spam you or use your email address for anything other than something you would consent to it being used for. So definitely send me that if you want a hoodie. If you are interested in a gift card from Jordan's Jungle, all of this foliage on the drive up and being here in the middle of the fucking woods in this cabin definitely has me wanting to buy a new plant. Actually, what I'm excited to really buy a new plant for is, can we talk about the Black woman in the White House now? Shout out to Biden and Kamala Harris, that ticket, those Democrats in there. I can't say that this ticket was my first choice. Probably wouldn't have necessarily been my second choice. However, this is still a moment to celebrate. I know that I can't remember whose post it was, but a young lady posted on Instagram that there is nuance in this, although it be victory, nuance in the discussion to be had about the way we are entering into or entering out of this election season. So it is what it is, but I am happy that my soror and the first woman, and not just the first woman, but she is also a Black woman, is in the White House. Well, to be in the White House. So yes, I'm buying a fucking plant for that, because as much as I want to see, our elected officials grow into being good people in the sense of making the best decisions for the greater good of this country. Because guess what? The same way we travel out of this country, people travel into this country. And I would like that everyone is, part of a space where people are safe and people are respected, and decisions are upheld that keep everyone in the greater good, in the best space that we can be. That being said, I'm buying a plant in celebration for that newness. So if you would like to buy a new plant to celebrate something, especially it being a change in the regime, if you will, a gift card to Jordan's Jungle, one of my favorite nurseries, would be a good start. So if you would like to win a gift card, just take my listener survey. Lets me get a feel for who you guys are and what you guys want to see and what you already like that I've been doing with the podcast. So the link for that is in the episode description, as well as if you would like 10% off of Travel and Shit merch, feel free to sign up for my mailing list. There is a specific link in the episode description that has the link to the mailing list that you will get a follow-up with the discount code for 10% off of merch. And again, a reminder that I'm making changes to the merch site. So, if you already had your eye on something, go back, check, see if it's there, and grab it while it is showing up, because I don't know what all I'm going to keep. I am downsizing. I'm minimizing the options that are there in an attempt to give you guys the best customer service and make sure that everybody is able to receive their orders quickly, considering we're still in a global ass pandemic. And, I don't want there to be really extensive wait times in terms of your items arriving during the holiday season, because I don't house the items in my crib, because I ain't going to nobody's post office, and nor am I going to be making sure to keep myself available enough for the mail people to do a pickup. Like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not packing shit, so I have drop shippers do it. So I think that is all of it for the intro. And now into this week's episode. The thing left off, babe. the TV. Okay. You did say just ignore it. I was given direction in the beginning of this. But I be paying attention to shit because, you know what I mean? We in the middle of nowhere. So the antlers is up. Considering this is on loop, can you turn the thing off? I'm hot. Appreciate you. Real life shit, y'all. And it's just such a great thing to have someone else here so that I don't have to do it all by my fucking self anymore. So for those of y'all that are watching the podcast on the YouTubes, apparently boyfriend is mad technical and by profession knows what the fuck he's doing. So he knows how to make this so that this fireplace that I just asked him to turn off will keep going for the visuals. So yeah, before I get to the whole Baecation of it all, let me tell you guys what all is going on, where I'm at, without giving too much detail, because folks, it's crazy. I'm actually in Vermont, took a road trip. So that actually, the drive up was great. I live in New York, and it's supposed to be a 6-hour drive. However, I don't think it actually was. We left around, I think, 1:45, and we didn't pull into the property until, it was like 1:45, right? We didn't pull into the property around 9, a little bit after 9 p.m. And we only made, I want to say, one stop. And we stopped for gas and to use the bathroom after we'd already gotten into Vermont. Oh yeah, and we made 2 stops. We also stopped for groceries. So let's just say about 6.5, a little bit over, because I don't think we spent an hour at the grocery store, but we did a nice bit of grocery shopping because Mr. here does incredible work in the kitchen. He's a really good cook. So we got most of our groceries, considering we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. There is no Uber Eats. There's no Postmates. That's not an option out here. So that's one of the things about this kind of remote kind of vacation. You got to be prepared to do your own cooking, which I know how to cook. I just don't enjoy cooking. So that's not exactly one of the things that I do often while I'm traveling. I did do some cooking last trip I took in Guadeloupe, just because the kitchen was outside. It was beautiful. And I didn't really like the food options that were nearby. So it was either eat some shit I don't really want or make something that I do like. And it was easy enough. I could eat scrambled eggs any time of the fucking day. So Guadeloupe was relatively easy for me to keep myself fed and nourished. And also I would buy stuff while I was out. But the drive here was a little bit over 6 hours. It was a really pretty straightforward drive for the majority of it. Once we got into Vermont, there was quite some time. I'd say a little bit over an hour's worth of driving, where I am a good driver. I'm a pretty comfortable driver. I don't really have issues with driving. Now, granted, on the highway, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's raining outside, and this is still running. So just bear with the ambient noises, if you will, the noises of nature and the cabin. But a part of the driving, and one thing that I will remind you guys if you decide to take a road trip, is keep in mind it's fall now and it gets darker earlier. So if you're not comfortable driving at night, make sure that you leave early enough that you can get to your destination well before the sun goes down. So keep that in mind. I'd say the sun went down, we drove about 3 or so hours in the dark, give or take. I'd say a strong 4 hours. I'm getting the 4. About 4 hours in the dark. And once we got into like Vermont, like into going off of the highway, because mind you, on the highway, even though there are no lights, it's relatively easier to drive only because you've got the lines, and it's just like it felt like we were driving in a tunnel the whole time. And then that compounded once we got off the main road, and then we're more on like the neighborhood streets, not like streets like in, I want to say civilized world, but not like in Queens. It was more like, it felt like you were driving through like a time warp in a sense, but you can't see shit is my point. So thankfully, once we were off those like little main areas, like you can see that the speed limit goes down. So a certain portion of it was like 45 miles an hour. Then it went to say 50. Then there was one area that might have been like 60. But it was a lot of 25 and a lot of, I'd say 40. So after we stopped at the grocery store, it took us so much longer to get to the actual property, only because our speed limit decreased a lot. But we found a really, really nice, it's called Stowe. What's the name of the? No, that's the one of the towns in the area. Did I write it down? Sterling Groceries was the smaller one, but there was a larger like grocery chain that is really, really nice. And we got champagne bottles for wild cheap. How do you pronounce the Veuve Clicquot? He's a fancy nigga. I ain't. Give me your Jack, or what do I drink now? Jameson and ginger. That's more my flow, but he knows the fancy things. But we got bottles of that for $50. So I'll be stunting at some point in the future with my I got a splinter in my butt. The seat is like a wood seat. Oh guys, vacation pains. Yeah, the little seat got me. Yeah. But I got fancy ass bottles of champagne, you know. So y'all gonna see me stunting at some point in the future, because I got some of those. And really nice selections in terms of, I'm into cheeses now. I too is a fancy hoe. And like we have, Cabot is big out here for cheese. Like the Cabot, I guess, what's it called? Like the processing plant or whatever, but where they make Cabot cheese is here in Vermont. So Shorty has me really into different flavors of cheese. I got a little cheese palette here. The Alpine cheddar, baby. That shit, what we got? There's a goat cheese with clover blossom honey, and then there's a 3-year naturally aged 3-year cheddar cheese. Those are the two that we're going to. He's making jalapeno peppers. Oh, with the goat cheese. Y'all, fancy ass fucking cheese, okay? I actually have a little cheese plate, or the remnants of a cheese plate, sitting over here, and it's got like bacon and some shit, and then there's like another cheddar. Y'all, it's popping, right? So Vermont is really well known for cheese, and they haven't disappointed the kids. So I have been loving that. And the grocery stores that we found have had a really, really nice selection of cheeses, and they had like a full ass liquor store, wines, like whole ass aisles of wines. Like I've seen more wine in these 1 or 2 aisles in this grocery store than I did in like my local liquor stores. Okay. So there's that on that. Lots of nice, I don't know if we're actually going to hit a brewery, but I think we're definitely going to hit a vineyard. So this is only full day 2 on the property. So we haven't done everything that we had planned to do, but similar to how I described in my 3-piece and a carry-on. Is it 3-piece? No, 6-piece and a carry-on. I knew I wasn't crazy. Similar to how I've described in my 6-piece and a carry-on solo travel planning course, we decided to kind of list out the different things that we can do on different days of the week and pick out what were some things that we absolutely must do on the trip. And a couple of those things are visiting a Black-owned winery that's in the area. We're going to go to Zaffa Winery tomorrow. I think we're going to do that. I could not find a Black tattoo artist in Vermont. Generally, when I do tattoos, I kind of just happenstance my way into a shop that I find or stumble across in my, traveling and walking about in town and stuff like that. But with COVID, still a major concern for the world. I actually did look up some shops in advance, and I found one that was able to accommodate with an appointment during the time frame that I was here. So I'll be getting a tattoo done because y'all know that I have my travel sleeve. So I'll be adding ink to the arm. So stay tuned for what that looks like. And then there is a Black-owned restaurant that we're going to hit up. I want to say it's Kisamayo. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but Kismayo. Kismayo is very likely the way to pronounce the restaurant that we're going to hit up tomorrow. We're going to check out the Ben & Jerry's factory. Then we wanted to also check out the Cabot, the cheese motherfuckers. We're going to check out. Now, there are tours they can't do because they're making sure that they produce all the cheeses safely for everybody, and then having stranger ass motherfuckers in there isn't exactly cohesive to that. So we're just going to go visit the Cabot store, and we're going to try to make a stop off in Rhode Island so that I can personally pick up some plants from Jordan's Jungle for myself. But for all intents and purposes, that really depends on how the travel, back home goes, as long as we're able to safely make another stop, and within, making sure we're not too tired or overexerting ourselves, because we'll be up early from that day to make sure that we can accommodate for the appropriate checkout time. So I mentioned the drive is pretty much straight shot coming up from New York. Beautiful. Like the foliage is absolutely gorgeous. So we all know, at least as New Yorkers, that Northeast is known for its beautiful scenery and a really, really gorgeous drive. And it didn't disappoint. The drive up was really nice. We didn't hit a single spot of traffic. We left on Monday afternoon, and it was a perfect drive. I do not have any complaints. I drove the whole way up because I felt good enough to drive. I was, I guess, being a little superhuman, as this one put it, but I really felt I was in the mood to do a drive, so that wasn't an issue. But because we were driving, I was absolutely able to overpack. That's one thing that I've got to say that I don't generally do when I travel. When I travel, I'm usually, if you want to do it or if you don't want to do it, you got to kind of consolidate and condense what it is that you bring with you. You got to worry about the sizing of the bottles that you bring, the liquids and all that shit, because I'm team carry-on. I don't want to have anything that I have to check because time is cash money to me. I don't want to have to wait for check bags if I don't have to. Also, I don't want the fear in my mind of losing a bag should the airline lose my shit while they're checking it. So what was really cool about doing the drive myself is that I was able to bring any and everything that I could possibly think of. So I was able to bring lights so that I can get a better recording for the YouTube channel. I was able to bring a whole bunch of merch to try to get some really great shots for you guys, to just produce content and really just get on my creative tip while I'm on the trip. I was given the opportunity to bring as much shit as I could want because all I had to do was fit in my car. So yeah, I do live in Queens. I'm a New York City resident my whole entire life, but I live in Queens. We're the 2 fare zone, so I do have a car. I do drive, and so that made it so that I didn't have to rent a car. We did book an Airbnb, and by we, I mean boyfriend, because like I said, shouldn't pay for it. Thank you, boo. Love you. Appreciate it. A really, really nice Airbnb. The reviews were insane. And honestly, this middle of nowhere shit is very uncomfortable for me personally because I fear the unknown. I don't know that I've ever really gotten into that in an episode before, but I generally have an uneasy time and I experience a lot of anxiety when I have to put myself in a space where I don't have control over what's going on around me or how I'm affected by, the general environment outside of me. So this being like, the people here have like 20 acres of land. 20 acres, fam. I don't even know how much space that is. I just know it's a fuck ton. So 20 acres of land, and by land, I mean like wooded land. Like they've got land to the point where the town named the road after them. You see what I'm saying? So like the road that we come off of is named after them because there's just that much space and it's theirs apparently. That being said, it's kind of creepy. Not kind of, it's very fucking scary out here for me because when I'm home, I can always look outside the window and see what the fuck is going on. I can shut my lights out, and also I know that like there's always something happening outside. There's something comforting about my neighborhood because I know it. There's always people around, my neighbors, my landlord downstairs, like people. That's not the case here. There is, however, relative close access to other people. What I will say is that was a factor that made it a little bit easier for me to stay here is that the owner of the property is like we can see their house and then there's a second house that's nearby. So we can see two other homes that are really close by. Like if we were outside and we were screaming and shouting for help, they should absolutely hear us. So God forbid something did happen, we're not totally isolated, you know? However, other than those two houses, we are quite distant. I'd say about a quarter mile from what looks like to be other neighbors or other properties that are, we can, like, we kind of notice them on the drive in, but it's all, it's a dirt fucking road to get to the cabin. It's a dirt fucking road. I am going to work on getting a nice video of the space, but at this point it's kind of lived in. So I've got hoodies and socks and food and stuff on the table. At some point I'm going to straighten up so that I can get you guys some video and not look crazy. But it is an absolutely adorable cabin. It's all like, you know, like you can see that like a person made this. This wasn't like, you know, I guess you can say no, it was constructed, obviously. It wasn't like regular house construction, if you will. You can see the imperfections in the wood. A lot of the wood is unfinished wood. I believe all of it is untreated. There may be like a light treatment to it, like a ceiling or something, if I were to have a guess. I don't build fucking houses, so I can't really say one way or the other. But all wood, whole way through. Love the detailing. Ceiling is beautiful. Like the cabin itself is gorgeous in the middle of nowhere. And let's see, looking at my notes here. Scary town, no lights. Yeah, really like consistent tunnel. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything about the drive. Now, in terms of COVID, when I tell you this is one of the cleanest properties that I've ever been to, one of the cleanest. There's no dust, very minimal spider webs. I think I noticed like 2 spots, like maybe under one of like the ledges or like on a corner ceiling. Like I'm laying in the bed in the morning, just, you know, you're waking up, so you're just like looking at details around you, maybe some cobwebs in the corner. Otherwise, this place is incredible. So many little touches. Like they've got a ton of fucking towels. They've got soap here for you. Like pots, pans, wine glasses, bowls. There's all kinds of like soap. There's lotion at the sink. Great what do you call it? Like keys. Oh, one of the things I noticed that they even put a little light on the keychain so that now mind you, you could barely see 20 feet in front of you out here. Like there are no lights. There are motion lights on the property. And since there are no lights though, and we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, when I tell y'all the stars, I fucking cried. I bitched up. I ain't gonna hold you. Like I had a moment. I love everything celestial. I love all things stars. And when I saw the stars on Monday after we brought a lot of the bags in, I had a moment. We actually went to go sit out because there are also 2 ponds on the property. We went to go sit by one of the ponds after going on a little bit of hike. And we were sitting there at the pond, really enjoying the stars. And I heard some wild shit. He thinks it was an animal. I think it was a people, like on some like really crazy, creepy stuff. And we sat maybe 2 minutes waiting to see if we heard something else. And we was just like, nah, neither one of us is comfortable. We're going inside. And another reason why I appreciate not being here by myself, because he made a really good point with the way the darkness is set up, we wouldn't even see somebody coming until they were almost too close for us to do anything about it. So it's really, really dark out here, and we're right on like the edge, and there's like all forest, tons of hiking trails, and all that really cool shit surrounding us. And if niggas get up early enough, we intend to go on another hike. We went on a short hike yesterday, but the property around us is really nice. It's, I guess you can consider it clean. Like there's no trash and stuff. It's just nice to look at. The weather's been great. It rained a lot of today, but it was still really warm. Like the humidity was high enough that I just had a hoodie on when we went out to the grocery store and we went out to town. Now, when we went to town, since we're in a small town, there really wasn't that much to see. Again, we're pretty far out of town, so it took us maybe, it didn't take us long to see civilization, but it took us a while to drive into what town is. And we went through about 2 or 3 towns before we got to more of a main town feel, if you will. But you know, at some point I will absolutely like we're in the Stowe, what was it, Manchester, Stowe or Manchester or Stowe, or I can't remember what the other place was, but I know Stowe is nearby. Stowe is one of the neighborhoods that we drove through on our way to the larger area. What else did I have on here? Essentially, this trip is really for relaxing. I came out with a bunch of different plans and ideas and, intentions. But once I got here, like I like to remind you guys to check in with yourself and to see how you're feeling, and, ask yourself, how are you experiencing yourself in your travels? And in that check-in, and thanks to Mr. for doing like a reminder, like you're on vacation, like you can chill, like you can take a step back and you can do what it is you feel your body needs right now and what your spirit needs right now. So when I tell you we just laid around and talked for most of this trip, we've just sat up, like we kept talking about we were going to finish Lovecraft and haven't gotten past the same episode that we left off at back at home. Just because it's just really nice to just experience each other in another setting. And we just do a lot of talking and drinking. We've gone through so much wine and it's a good fucking time. So really, even if I had every day planned out, I do like to do a check-in and see how I feel with each day and really kind of go from there. Tomorrow's a different story because I have my tattoo scheduled. I have an appointment for that. So we're definitely going to do more of, intending to stick to the schedule. But between the 2 full days that we've had here already, it's really been a practice of how do you feel right now in the moment. So we had wanted to do more hiking yesterday, but we ended up getting a late start again because we just got lost in conversation. And that's one of my favorite things about this kid. Let's see, what else? Oh, I mentioned it to you earlier. So we were in town. I think I did see a black guy because I was going to say I have not seen a man of color this whole trip since we got up here. When we got to the, remember we went to the gas station? We did stop at a gas station, which was going under, which is like a lot of construction and a lot of the ground was broken up. The traffic patterns totally fucked up. There was a black guy in the gas station when we got there. Yeah, that really was like 2 hours away, essentially. It was like as soon as we got, it was more than an hour. It was an hour after we got off of that highway. Like once we turned off of that highway, it was still an hour. Yes, it was closer to the New Hampshire border. I don't know if that means nothing to y'all, but I've seen maybe 2 other black women since we've gotten into like the Stowe area, and I've seen 1 Asian woman. Other than that, no men of color, not a single one. No one's been rude. No one's been nasty. A couple people don't respond back with like, you say, oh, nice ink, nice tattoos. Kid just kept walking past, didn't say nothing to me. All right, fine. Don't answer. I know we left the rest stop near the border, and Mister was like, all right, have a good night, be safe or whatever. And Shorty just stared at us. She ain't say shit back. So, okay. Sure. No biggie. Don't speak. Like we don't have to be friends. Pleasantries. But I can't say that I've felt. I know when we went back to the liquor store that was attached to the grocery store, the cashier initially, I felt like she was going to be a little standoffish or a little nasty, but then she ended up engaging in conversation. So I don't know if it was like that nervous conversation where she just wanted to talk because she ain't know really what else to say. Sometimes people engage with you because they're genuinely kind and nice, and then other people engage with you just because they're a little nervous and they want to kind of stay in control of what's being, what's happening. Kind of got that feeling from her, but either all, that's a new thing, so I'm gonna run with it. Either all, she was kind, she was sweet. It just, I didn't feel like she was talking to us because she really wanted to or anything. But I haven't personally experienced anything uncomfortable in terms of the treatment. I know that today and yesterday we only really have done grocery stores. All the kids ringing us up have been relatively nice. They've all been maybe high school, college age, give or take. But tomorrow might be another experience because we are actually going to different establishments. We're going to Zaffa, which is Black owned. So I'm expecting, or I'm hoping that might be, a nice experience. And then there's also the tattoo shop and the restaurant that we're going to go to. So that'll be another test to see what the people in the neighborhood are. We haven't interacted with our host, but yeah, through the messaging, he's been really kind. He used to be a tour guide. Mr. 10 out of 10 recommends the guide. And I know in reading the reviews of the Airbnb, I got more comfortable with staying so much, with being so isolated. Listening to, well, not listening, but reading everybody say how enjoyable their stay was. And then I guess you could say for me, successfully seeing people make it back home was a plus. When we got here, you know how you stay at an Airbnb and there are like notebooks or books for guests to leave reviews and little thank you messages. I found books that go back to 2011. So, excuse me, it's been hundreds, if not more, people who have stayed here safely, happily, and plenty of them, I'm certain, have come back. Because I remember seeing in the reviews on Airbnb's platform that people had come back to the destination. So that is that also made me more comfortable with staying here, especially considering that boyfriend had a nice interaction with the hosts on the platform. We didn't meet them in person, but haven't had any issues. And again, the details that are left here, like there are 2 alarm clocks upstairs. Each of the alarm clocks has outlets in and a USB port in the clock on each end of the bed. Little touches. There are notes all around the property that explain to you how different things work and where things are. There's a note here that explains the curtains don't close. Use the cords to close the shades. Telling you in the bathroom which towels to use for outdoor use and indoor use. What else is here? No, I'm looking in the closet. Please double check. Have you left our hangers here for our next guest to use? Thanks so much. Things like there are more blankets under here. There are more pillows here. When I tell you every detail is accommodated and thought of, so easy to feel comfortable and really cared for here on the property. The only thing that's annoying and that I always find annoying is when you have to do more than just separate your food from like plastics in terms of recycling. And here they have a really extensive like trash system where they've got your earth grown stuff, I guess, for composting. So they've got like anything that came from the ground, and then like eggshells. And then you've got like your meat products and dairy and stuff goes in a separate space. And then you've got what do you call the thing? Bottles that can be returned. And then you've got like bottles and like there are so many different fucking recycling and garbage options that for me, that's mad work. That's mad work. But out of respect for these people's home, and I guess what's normal and regular practice for the area, you fuck with it, like you don't rock the boat. It keeps the earth in good shape, and that's good enough for everybody. What else did I have? Yeah, I definitely make sure to note about the isolation. It's rather uncomforting being all the way out here in the middle of nowhere, but because I'm not alone, it makes it so much easier to deal with. I absolutely trust boyfriend to keep me safe, and he's done a great job so far. I'm still here. But that was another thing. I know last week Denise thank you again to my guest Denise for chatting with me. Definitely make sure to show her some love on social medias and check out her music on SoundCloud and wherever you listen to music. But she had mentioned, like, this is new for you. Like, you're being vulnerable. Like, this is a new relationship and you're going, pretty distant or pretty far from your home. And I gotta say, it is a new experience just because I'm used to doing things in terms of travel on my own. But I've got to say that having him around has made it so much easier to just kind of relax and enjoy things a little bit more. So I'm always pretty much in line with the best way for me to enjoy things however that moment presents itself. But it's nice to not have to do all the work in terms of planning. He's a really good planner. So he planned, I'd say 90% of the trip. It was more of a, hey, what are you interested in doing? Or do you want to do this? Or do you not want to do this? Or how are you feeling right now? Are you ready to go? Or are you not ready to go? Would you rather do X, Y, and Z? So this is a very new experience. This is one of the, other than going to Alberta with Sarita, hey boo, other than that trip, this is the first trip that I've taken that I've done the least amount of planning. Also Miami, but that was probably over 10 years ago with some girlfriends of mine. But this is the first trip I've gone on where I wasn't necessarily in control of every aspect of it. And it feels fucking good. Like, I am a very, I guess, dominant person in life in general, very assertive, if you will. So it feels good to just kind of just kick back and be like, I don't know, tell me what time to be ready. I'll be there. It's good weather out here, so I haven't really had to worry about, layering and clothes and all that kind of stuff. Again, kick back, sweats, t-shirts, hoodies. It's been, nothing overly fancy planned, but he has a great sense of what I'm into and what I'm not. And again, fucking communicates. So we talk about the different plans that we have and we agree to everything before we set things in motion. So I will say that there is a little bit, I can see there being a difference in a vacation versus a vacation with friends in a way, only because, especially I would say in fairness to it being a newer relationship, there's not much I don't want to do with him. So especially being out here in the middle of fucking nowhere, nah, bruh. My hip, stay right here in my pocket. You ain't going nowhere because you ain't leaving me out here by myself. And it was funny because, what was it? What was I trying to do? And you were just like, no, to the grocery store. When we got to the grocery store, because everything out here closes wild early, right? So I'd asked him to look up while we were driving, find out what time the grocery store is going to close when we get into town so that we're able to get something to eat because I'm starving. So he noticed, everything closes at 8. Thankfully, there was a larger grocery store that I told you we stopped at beforehand, and we got there a little bit after 8, but they didn't close until later. Anyway, I'm shutting down the car, and I like driving with my shoes off, so I'm putting my sneakers on, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead and run and see if, the grocery store is closed. He was just like, for what? And I'm just like, so it's like, if we could get in there before they close. He's just like, if you're not there, why would I go? And I'm just like, oh. He's like, you're mad small. Somebody snatch you in the fucking parking lot. Then what do I do? Touche. I see you. I hear you. Good point. And so it's nice to know that also somebody else is your fucking back, and that I don't necessarily have to worry about being snatched on my own, that there's somebody else worried about me getting snatched as well. So on my back, watching, making sure that I'm good. So there is a comfort in that, having someone else there. And we have a lot of the same interests. We are into a lot of the same shit. So being able to agree on things to do and experiences to take on is really not been something that has presented itself as difficult. So for the most part, I gotta say, the kid is really enjoying Vermont. The weather is nice. It's not that far different from what it is currently in New York. So far, we haven't really interacted with people other than like check in, check out at check out grocery stores. And that's really all I have to update you on in terms of Vermont. COVID precautions. I did bring my own cleaning supplies, but found out they got all the supplies under the kitchen anyway. So I really did like that about the house as well. There's a vacuum cleaner and a dustpan and a broom in here. I personally love when accommodations have their own cleaning supplies, only because I don't live in squalor. So if I spill something, I want to clean it up. If I'm here for anything longer than like 2 nights, now I'm not going to make a mess, but I may, encounter something or drop a bag of chips or spill a dish or something and want to clean it up. So I appreciate that there are extra paper towels. There are, cleaning supplies and tools throughout the different property. There's also a bunch of games and stuff that they have in here. The TV does have all the apps. We're having a really shit time with the internet at this point. So this is full day 2. It was fine yesterday. We watched TV a little bit, and it ain't happening today. I was able to get onto my Wi-Fi, not my Wi-Fi, but onto the internet using my data from the phone. Apparently I have a hotspot. News to me. Not mad at it. So I was able to get some stuff done, but we were having a little bit of issue with connectivity throughout the day, which wasn't the greatest fun, but again, vacation. You do, what you can with what you got. And when I got here, I ended up really wiping down all of the shared surfaces, and that included all the light switches, the remote controls, all the faucet handles with my Lysol wipes. And honestly, other than that, I don't anticipate touching anything else except for just, sitting on the couch, laying in the bed. And those are things that you would hope that your host is actually taking care of. There is a form that we had to sign. We could have either done it as a PDF, or they've printed it out here, asking that, we had there are a whole bunch of different criteria that they're asking that you meet when you're doing interstate travel. Thankfully, between New York and the Northeast, travel restrictions are a little bit more lax. They just ask that you quarantine at your home state or have negative COVID tests or quarantine once you arrive. There are a couple of different categories and points of interest and all that kind of shit. But if you're looking to travel someplace, absolutely look into what the state restrictions are going to be. I will say that it's been pretty lax. There's been nobody that has come to ask for proof. We didn't need to bring COVID results or COVID test paperwork or any, we didn't need to bring any paperwork or show proof of anything once we got here. We just have to sign it and know that it's being held onto for, I want to say, at least 30 days after we leave. So God forbid something does go wrong. There's a way, I guess, to trace who all was in the area and who may be putting other people at risk, if you will. So, but like I said earlier, everything about the accommodation says clean to me. Like, I have no complaints, not a single fucking complaint. And I'm really pleased that we're out here. Property is beautiful, scary as fuck because it's dark as fuck. But that's one of those things where you just kind of let it be part of the excitement of the trip. So I'm really looking forward to getting my tattoo tomorrow. That's actually going to be the highlight of the day. Although I know this is probably going to be the most painful tattoo. Not looking forward to that. Low-key miss my puppy just a little bit. Feeling sentimental these past couple of days. And so far, that's all I've got in terms of Vermont. Looking forward to giving you guys the remainder of the trip follow-up next week. And for now, if you guys have any questions about road trips, COVID travel, Vermont, or anything that has come to mind in listening to this week, let me know. Shoot me an email at dcarry@travelandshippodcast.com. And when you're emailing me, it's travel and shit spelled out. So it's no exclamation mark in the shit. Just put the I. You can hit me on social media. I am low-key trying to be present on social media, but I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm just having a great fucking time, and I'm really not wanting to be concerned with posting content in the moment. And I promise I will get back to, sharing some really great content with you guys once I'm able to get home and, reestablish a routine. And just know that that is coming. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, dcarry@travelandshippodcast.com. Don't forget to let me know how you feel about the theme songs. This way, next week going forward, I can choose one to use consistently. If you're interested in any of the giveaways, don't forget I'm giving away a hoodie. I'm doing a $25 gift card to Jordan's Jungle in Rhode Island, which I'm hoping to be able to stop by on my way back home. And if you're interested in 10% off of Travel and Shit merch, I don't know if you can see my sweatpants here. We got these joggers, these t-shirts absolutely aren't going anywhere. They will be on the site. So if you're interested in 10% off of your Travel and Shit merch, be sure to sign up for the mailing list to get that discount code. And I say it every week and I remind you, you don't have to worry about getting spammed and about getting a lot of emails because I personally don't want to write and create a bunch of emails. So I ain't going to send you a bunch of emails. It's really just to keep you up to date with anything that may change in the future or, really important information that comes along or useful information for you guys as travelers or wanting to be travelers. So appreciate y'all for fucking with the kid. Thanks for coming back. I hope you have enjoyed the little tidbits I dropped about Vermont. Overall, I've got to say that it's been a great trip. It's been an absolutely incredible trip. I'm really pleased. I feel really good here. And I can see this being a nice little getaway. Even in driving to and from the different areas, I've had I've seen a couple of different little not Airbnbs, but bed and breakfasts in I think one of the towns that we passed by. There are a couple of nice little, I won't say nice, but cute little hotels. I don't know what they look like inside, but on the outside, there have been a couple of cute hotels that we've driven by on the way. So overall, I've really been a fan of the area. Just remember to keep in mind if you are doing a road trip to consider that it is getting dark so much earlier by 4 or 5 o'clock. Expect that there's no more sunlight. So if you do not want to be driving at night, don't think that you can drive until 7, 8 o'clock and have, a really lit route. Not the case. You want to make sure that you're leaving early if driving at night is an issue for you. Otherwise, fuck with it. You know what I mean? Depending on where you're going, take a shot, take a chance. So that's it for now. The kid is tired. I am going to be ready for dinner soon. So talk to you guys next week. And don't forget, travel is more than vacation. Bye.